I don't even know what direction we're gonna go here.
We rolling?
Yeah, we're going.
All right.
Yep.
Let's do it.
What do you think?
Oh, there's a lot. There's definitely a lot to talk about. What do you want to get into first? Just do the movie thing since we were already kind of...
Yeah, if you want to start there and give people a little overview.
So, I went and seen The Sound of Freedom. We could do a review on that, non-spoilery. You know, I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. So
yeah. Well, I haven't seen it, so
right, yeah.
So what's going on?
Fantastic movie. It's a movie I think everybody should watch, especially any parent. I think. But just as a human, if you're a good human being, you have like a moral obligation to go and see this movie.
Well, you should let everybody know what movie it is, right? Or did you?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
The Sound of Freedom.
Yep.
So a little feedback for anyone who doesn't know what The Sound of Freedom is. It's a movie with Jim Caviezel. He's portraying Tim Ballard, who is a officer for Homeland Security that is involved in breaking up sex traffickers, child predators, and he
they have a trailer here.
Play the trailer. Yeah, go ahead. That'll work.
Hopefully.
Yeah, if it'll play. Technology.
Yeah. Okay, so keep talking.
Anyway, so Tim Ballard works for Homeland Security's busting pedophiles, and he ends up going undercover to rescue kids. It's a fantastic movie. You know, I can't say it enough that Jim Caviezel's a brilliant actor. It's an emotional role.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
It is the fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade, and soon it's going to pass the drug trade. Because you can sell a bag of cocaine one time to a child 5 to 10 times a day. God's children are not for sale.
How long you been doing this?
12 years now.
How many pedophiles you got?
288.
How many kids you found?
Timoteo, por rescatar niños, ¿verdad? ¿Puedes ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana?
Te lo prometo.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing Honduran kids in Colombia.
Which means she'll disappear for good. Imagine walking into her room right now, seeing an empty bed. What we do?
You quit your job, and you go and rescue those kids.
So at this moment, she could be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA. She's a major operator.
It's all rebel territory. No one goes in. Not the army, not the police, not us.
What if this was your daughter?
There's no Marine unit coming.
You're on your own. This job tears you to pieces. And this is my one chance to put those pieces back together.
When God tells you what to do, you cannot hesitate.
There it is. So there's the trailer. Fantastic movie. The action's excellent. The special effects is excellent. So the quality of the film is great. It's been done for quite a few years. I think 5 years. They said that, you know, they couldn't get the studio to to take it and put it out there. So Angel Studios grabbed it, God bless them, and now it's out there. People are going to see it, and they need to. You see that footage, that black and white footage of those kids being grabbed. That is real life footage of
security cameras.
Yep, security cameras of children being abducted, and it shows you how fast. Like, there's kids playing on the sidewalk, and van pulls up, grabs kid, and just drives off, and the other kids are like standing there, like, oh my God, what do we do? Like, and one of them, I think they even chase after the van to try to get their friend back. So it happens quick. So the movie is an emotional roller coaster. There were parts during the movie where there was not a dry eye in that theater. There's a lot of hope and a lot of feel good in the movie too. So the movie basically is, because I'm not going to give anything away that the trailer didn't, Tim Ballard rescues a little boy. And the boy's like, will you rescue my sister? And he gives up everything to go on this quest and rescue this little girl. Definitely has you on the edge of your seat. There's some adrenaline dumps in that movie where, anxiety and adrenaline will get you. So I hope everybody goes and sees it. I'm going to go and see it again. It was that good, and I want to show support to these guys for producing a movie like this. Last I looked, and this was a couple days ago, it had done over $50 million. So
let's see where it's at now.
Yeah, let's see where it's at now, but it was doing really good. I hope it does 100 million. Definitely
5 days ago.
I've heard a lot of stories of people being in the theater and the AC supposedly isn't working, and the audio cuts out and quits working, so they can't finish the movie. And it just seems like there is a group of people that just don't want you to watch this, and I can only speculate as to why.
Tell me more.
Anyone would be against you seeing this movie. I mean, this should be a must-see. They should be promoting the hell out of this,
Why do you think they wouldn't want people to see it?
Because I think that evil is running rampant right now, and the most evil thing you can do is steal the innocence of a child. Leave the kids alone. People do bad shit to each other all the time, but you're an exceptionally evil person when you're willing to do bad things to kids. And I think there's a large group of I think the abuse of children has been happening since there were humans on the planet, no doubt. But at this level, probably never. I would, and this is an opinion show, right? We're not. I didn't go to school for journalism, so take what I say with a grain of salt. This is just my opinion, but I don't think there's ever been a time that all the history stuff that I've researched and studied and read and watched, there's never been a time like this where it was just this acceptable to harm kids. Probably the closest that there ever was to this much evil in the world was when Noah was here, and anyone that's faith-based knows what happened to the earth then, right? Excuse me. So
like 53 million is the last. That's 2 days ago, though.
Yeah,
so
2 days ago, and then you get this weekend, and it's not even a full 2 weeks yet. So yeah, it's doing really good. But and this used to be conspiracy theories, that they would say when you would talk about these elitist people at the top that were raping babies and stuff, and now you see it, like whether it's Hollywood actors that's been busted, or politicians that's been busted, or friends of politicians, and now we've seen that even in the alphabet law enforcement, look at what happened with Epstein. This isn't a myth, you know. And I know the narrative with like big media, you know, your mainstream media is trying to say, oh, it's QAnon conspiracy, it's right wing. This is a faith-based movie, and honestly, it's not a religious movie by any measure. There's like a line or two in it about leave God's children alone, and that's based on, you know, Tim Ballard's faith. It's not like Bible thumping you or anything through this movie. It's just about rescuing kids, you know, helping children, and who could be against that? And if you are, then I want to know why. Explain to me your motivation. See, my motivation, I don't even have to explain. I'm a father. I'm an uncle. I'm a friend. I'm a son. I'm a human. Mm-hmm. It's in my instinct to protect children. You know, it's part of my DNA. So I don't have to defend that. You defend why you think it's okay for this shit to happen in the world, because it shouldn't be. And you know, like I hope everybody sees this movie. You know, like we were talking before the show. In the darkness, in the shadows is where this shit happens. So shine a big light on it. Make the shadows small. Make it really hard for these people to hide. So you know what? If I'm sick and tired of watching the world, you know, you see some 65-year-old woman that went to the Capitol on January 6th, and she's thrown in prison for taking a selfie in the Capitol building. And yet these people are molesting children, and you know they're getting a year or two in prison. They're back out on the street to do it again. And we know the reoccurrence rates with these guys. It's well documented that once you go down that dark path, there's no coming back. Like, these guys are definitely gonna do it again, you know?
I found this on MSN. It says, despite its box office success and positive audience response, Sound of Freedom has faced a boycott from major film critics. The reasons for this boycott and lack of coverage by prominent news outlets remain unclear. While some critics have given positive reviews, others have been critical of the film. The impact of its boycott on the film's overall reception and success in the long term remains to be seen.
Yeah, when I seen it, it was pulling at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes from the audience, and it was like 70% from the critics were giving it.
Yeah, right here.
Up,
yeah,
you know?
and this is backing up. And again, this is MSN, so it's not Fox News or The Blaze or anything. But it says it's unclear whether Angel Studios distributor Sound of Freedom made the movie available for critics to screen before its release. The distributor has not responded to inquiries regarding blah blah blah. Let's see. However, the audience response has been positive, with the movie holding a 99% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and receiving an A+ cinema scoring rating.
It's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's a great message. You know, explain to me why you're against people seeing this movie, and don't give me the crap, you know, talking points. Oh, it's right-wing propaganda. For one, every movie's propaganda in one way or another. So. Whatever.
Says the New York Times in particular has not only declined to review the movie, but has not mentioned it in any form within its entertainment reporting, including box office reports. This lack of coverage is surprising given the film's success, as Sound of Freedom performed beyond expectation on its opening day, ranking #1 at the domestic box office and outgrossing Disney's Indiana Jones, and The Dial of Destiny, despite being shown on fewer screens.
That right there alone should be enough for people to make the report of, you know, we weren't even gonna, you know, report about this movie, but wow, it beat Indiana Jones. This movie came out of nowhere, so why are people ranting and raving about this movie? Like, you know, you would have given the movie, if you were just an honest, true media outlet, you would have given the review just on that alone would have warranted a review. And again, I come back to, why would anyone be against a movie that's shining the light on bad things that's happening and educating parents and people, you know, making you more aware of this stuff, bringing it to the forefront so that, you know, you're looking for it. Like, why is this a bad thing? Why would anyone be against that? I can only draw one conclusion. You know, if you're against that, then you're part of that evilness. You know, you're one of them. Because I don't think you can set the fence on this. You know, I think you either are against bad things happening to kids or you're for it. I don't see how you can be neutral in it. You know.
Yeah, I'm shocked because I usually don't consume very much legacy media, you know, corporate media,
Right.
very little even local media because, you know, in my opinion, it's all bullshit and garbage anyways.
Sure.
But over the last 3 days I've been watching and nothing.
No. They just don't
No
want
mention
you to
of
see
it.
Pretend like it's not even there. And I gotta wonder why. Is this like, you know, we know who the corporate media works for, right? We know.
Right.
It's there's been enough light shine on corporate media and the relationships between the legacy media and the government and social media and Hollywood and, you know, the elitist, the people on the, you know, top of the ladder, the top rungs of society, and they're all friends. They, oh, you know, why is it Epstein? Why did the FBI know for years and years and years what was going on and nothing happened? You know, why is it Maxwell's in prison and we still don't have the list? We have the right to know. You know, we have the right to know who is out there that's a predator taking advantage of these little kids. Like, the public has the right to know that.
Right.
But I think there's a lot, man, I can only guess then, since they won't give you the list, that it has politicians and judges and actors and actresses and like people like that are on the list, and that's why they won't give it out. These rich people that, you know, I don't know, does money really corrupt you that bad that once you're uber rich, you're super rich like that, like there's just no excitement in life? You gotta go to, you know, mess around with demons and just go dark like that? And if they're doing stuff like that, what else are they doing? You know?
Right.
Then I gotta wonder, like, you know, remember the Purge movie and like, it's like rich people that
The sharing
were paying
of biased and
False news has
people
become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things.
You made me think of this.
Yeah.
I know people listening are going, what's going on? But what it is all these news organizations repeating the same narrative all across the country. People put these montages together. And I don't know how they got all the sound bites, which blows my mind. I hope it gets, I don't know if this is the right video. This
is extremely dangerous.
Yeah, here we go. So now you should.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Yeah. Nothing says we value independent media like dozens of reporters forced to repeat the same message over and over again.
Yep.
I know for people just listening, that's not the exact one.
Yeah, I've seen a couple like that, and they're just, you know, they come up with these catchphrases.
What's this one?
Like dog whistling was one for like 1 week. Every reporter on every.
Have you ever seen that video where it shows local news people all saying like the exact same thing? It's really weird. No.
it's one of those things where you go like, I kind of knew that this happened, but to see it happen so blatantly.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
This is scary.
Yeah.
This is the scariest.
Well, that's propaganda. They're trying to bend a narrative in a very specific way for everybody. Have you ever seen that video where it shows local news people all saying...
So that leads right into what you were saying. That's what made me, that's what triggered that thought. And I don't know how many people listening out there have ever heard that. I honestly, I heard it maybe a month ago. Like one of these videos just popped up in my feed. And I'm like, what's this about? And I start listening to it. I couldn't find the exact one, but I think everybody got the point. Yeah. Like, you can research it for yourself, do a little more digging. But the fact that across this whole country, there's all these sound bites of these local medias, local news companies
using the
same thing, the same talking point. Exactly.
The same exact words. There was one last week I watched. It was different than those, but basically the same thing. But it was a different catchphrase. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I remember there was like, and all it is, it's the media gaslighting the shit out of the American people. That's what it is. They're gaslighting you, they're brainwashing you. It was because they get these catchphrases like dog whistling, and there was a couple others, and it was like every month it would change a little, and every one of them was saying the same exact thing, and come on, man.
But like Joe Rogan said right there, it's propaganda.
Yeah. That's what propaganda is brainwashing.
But you got to wonder, where are these messages coming down from that is getting distributed evenly across all these companies?
Right.
Is it coming right from the government? Is somebody writing a script?
You know what?
And then they send it, it just gets sent out?
I think it's beyond the government.
Because how is it possible they're all saying the exact, all across? It's not like a tri-state area, 3 or 4 states where, they picked up on it and they kind of regurgitated and just kind of piggybacked on what other news companies around them were saying, right?
Yep.
No, this is all across the country.
Yeah.
And
at the same time.
And this isn't just legacy.
This isn't just legacy. It's little.
This is just local.
Your average TV 12, TV 25.
Right. Whatever your local station is that you can drive by, they're saying the same shit.
The same exact thing across the teleprompters at the same exact time. Scary.
Yeah. And I was blown away. I'm like, I had to watch multiple videos like, is this real?
Yeah.
And you keep going into it, it's like, holy cow. Like,
yeah, I wish I would have known you were gonna put. Man, I would have sent that one last week to you because it was good like that.
You just triggered my thought when you.
It blows you away when you like Joe Rogan said. You kind of know that it happens, but then to see it happen, it blows your mind. Like, yeah. And where does it come from? I think it's the 1%.
And there was actually one from our area in there too, and I was like, holy cow, like that. As soon as I saw as soon as I saw the station identification, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That's one of our own locals. This isn't just something that...
No, it's everywhere.
It'd be different, if you've seen it and it was... And you're just seeing them, right? You don't know where they came from, but to see your own news company on there...
And to know that, your neighbors are being manipulated by this, like, I don't trust the system at all anymore. They lie so bad. So
I wanted to find the exact one I saw because, like I said, I actually saw our own. Oh, it might be this one. It's crazy.
It's sad that you can find that many of them that easy.
No, what's sad is we're getting our news from Al Jazeera.
With partisan political opinion.
Yes, you want to go to Al Jazeera to get the truth. Or Chinese ran TikTok.
This is a textbook example of the whole being greater than the sum of its parts.
Oh, right
we
there.
work very hard to seek the truth and strive to be fair, balanced, and factual.
Seen individually, the Sinclair editorials do not make much of an impact. But when Timothy Burke, a video editor in Tampa, Florida, collected 44 versions of that editorial from 44 local news markets and lay them side by side, allowing Americans to play them back word for word.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
The effect was chilling.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Orwellian.
It was actually fairly horrifying. About a minute and a half op-ed decrying biased platforms pushing out fake news that endangered our democracy.
The sharing of biased
and false news has
become all too common on social media.
The anchors, for the most part, fairly stiff. A couple of people have compared them to hostage videos. So for a few seconds, it's actually kind of funny. And then you sort of tune into what they're saying, and it becomes more and more horrifying.
And whether the people understand exactly the politics and the conglomeration aspects that go into a message like this, these people, all they know is they saw a scary video where a bunch of news anchors were saying the same thing.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities.
And now their favorite news anchors are saying the same thing.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that ABC News 4 produces.
And they're just like, you're one of them.
When they learned that the Sinclair Broadcast Group was manipulating news content, the reaction of many Americans was, just what is Sinclair? Unlike Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC, Sinclair does not own a national news network, so its brand was not that well known. But it does own 173 local TV stations covering 40% of American households. Since those channels are affiliated with national broadcasting brands, ABC, NBC, and CBS, they display those logos rather than their parent companies.
Do not go to fast.
Yeah, and the one that I seen, they did even the legacy media too, and it was just, it's crazy. And you have to know, like, I don't even understand how this always seems to, this debate always falls apart. It becomes political down the party lines, right? Like liberals and Democrats, conspiracy theory, and then conservatives are pissed off about it, saying, no, this is happening. Like, everybody should be against this. Like, everybody should be against children being hurt. Everybody.
Everybody should be against being spoon-fed a narrative, right?
Because
that's been curated and prepared by who knows,
knows? And
to get us
I'll tell
all.
you this: what I do know is that the people, it's coming from the top down, and the people on the top are not Democrats and they're not Republicans. They're both. They're a uniparty. Because the higher you get, the more interweave these guys get. This is. You see it all the time. Like, these guys they're on the floor of the Senate arguing like they're enemies. They're on, one's on Fox News, one's on, MS-13, NBC, complaining about each other. And then the next week they go to the same country clubs. They're all playing golf together. You know what I mean? Like, it's smoke and mirrors, man.
Right.
It's just trying to brainwash us into this narrative. So liberals should be against this too. And I know right now you see a lot of times that, like, there's a percentage of the population in this country that's okay with what's happening because they believe they're winning, but you're not winning,
right?
Because in the end, like, they'll take your kids too.
We all lose.
Yeah. Freedom loses, man. You can't just have like one half of the country lose their freedom. When that happens, everybody loses their freedom. Everybody does.
But this is like,
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of, the come on, man. You can figure out what 65-year-old grandma on January 6th was at the Capitol building by a selfie taken and posted on Facebook or Instagram, and they can track this person down within a week and arrest them. But yet you can't tell me who brought cocaine into the White House. Seriously? And then you lie.
Went nowhere, huh?
Yeah, they closed it. No, it's done. And I mean, Secret Service, like the most.
They couldn't figure it out. They said they did DNA testing. They watched video camera.
It was one of 500 people.
They said the dogs are only trained to pick up on weapons.
Yeah. Which I've heard in other reports that's not true. It's drugs and weapons. So, like, do you really expect us to believe that? So the lies, they went from, aggravating me to just annoying the shit out of you to the point of now it just offends you. Like, the lies are so stupid. You got a crackhead living in the White House, and we're supposed to believe it was from a tourist.
I don't think he was living there.
The report I heard is he is actually staying there right now.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
And he was there at that time. You know what I mean? The night before, there was a big dinner that was.
What was that for? Was it 4th of July?
Yeah.
Did you see the montage of that?
Oh yeah, so that's another thing too. Like, these guys are all reporting about, Hunter Biden's taking a bump of cocaine off his wrist behind his old man, and I'm like, I wish people would not report that, because that is so not.
It's fun. Happened. It's fun though, isn't it?
It's funny, but if you're trying to report it serious, so like people want to make fun of it, I'm okay with that. The satire and the humor in it, you couldn't make this shit up, right? But when you have serious reporters trying to act like he's doing cocaine behind his dad, and it's like he's not taking a bump of cocaine off his wrist.
Let's see.
Yes, he wipes his nose. Probably no, he's acting bizarre, and I think he's tweaking. I do believe he's high as shit.
While President Biden and his family were celebrating July 4th on the Truman balcony, behind the scenes, the Secret Service was investigating the shocking discovery of cocaine just steps from the Oval Office.
How this got into the White House and who brought it in, all of those questions still lingering.
Here's what we know. The cocaine was found in a small dime-sized bag during a routine sweep in a cubby used by White House staff and guests to store cell phones.
There's a small wall of little cubbies where guests are told to leave their cell phones
from gun violence. The 4th of July is the most violent day of the year.
Yeah, they're not going to show that one. Yeah, they're going to bury it. But the way he's
looks
acting,
like YouTube's burying it.
Yeah, oh, no doubt.
I had a hard time finding it. I saw it the other day. And
it's Benny Johnson has it on his YouTube channel, The Benny Show.
Okay, I don't know who he is, but
he's put it on there a couple times. Anthony Brian Logan, ABL, he had it on his too.
Do you know if it was recently?
Yeah, within the last few days. Benny Johnson's had it on there. He's talked about this.
Can you narrow it down? Is this the guy?
Let's see which one it is.
Oh, I can go right to his channel.
Oh yeah, that's him. Those are all his videos. But
was it short or was it a video?
I think it might have been in the full video. He was talking about it, and he might have
just wanted it short,
but. So, you can see he's acting really bizarre. He appears to be tweaked out. I think he's probably high on that shit.
It's fun anyways to
But, was he actually, taking Hunter Biden's taking a bump right behind his dad? No, I don't. He's wiping the sweat off of his face, I think is what he was doing. And then he does wipe his nose. Yes. Anyone that's been around that shit, that,
How long? Well, that was
it was within the last couple of days.
Today's the 15th, so
he's put out quite a few videos that was all about,
I'm not familiar with,
but I'm not for sure which one it was.
Oh, come on now. Okay, well, we're just gonna go back to.
Yeah, you're too far back. It was more recent than that. Those are from 9 days ago. But I think what he does is he's wiping his face. He turns to leave, probably to go get high, I'm sure is what was happening. And he's wiping his nose, probably because he's got a runny nose. He's got a little drip going. Yeah, that
here's
was,
one.
Yeah, that was it.
This right one. There.
Crazy.
What is that?
Yeah, that's the scene. So back it up a little bit. Yeah, run into it. You can see, look at his face and see how he's sweaty and he's hyper and he's wiping his face and yeah.
That was my protege. I went one time for 13 days without sleeping and smoking crack and drinking vodka exclusively throughout that entire time. I probably smoked more Parmesan cheese than
snort it. And anyone that's been around it knows, ideally you'd go in the house to do that anyways, where there's no wind blowing it around and he's up on a balcony. Come on,
that's the fun of it, right?
Yeah, right? You know what I mean. What was
the reporter punching it over FaceTime during COVID? Who was that?
What's that?
God, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some people just get off on getting away with shit,
right.
you know?
Yeah, true.
What am I thinking about? You know what I'm talking about. They were working from home or something. They're doing video.
Right. Man, now I'm brain farting that one. You got me on the Hunter Biden thing, but it was just because I seen a couple of people try to report that as serious. And I don't, if you want to make fun of him and say he's doing that as a satire, I'm fine with that, because it is funny. This is so dumb. The lies are so dumb that it's funny.
Tubin.
Yeah, that's who it was. Jeez. He was tubing, all right. We should call it tubing now. What are you doing? I'm tubing, But I seen a couple people that were actually reporting that as legit serious, and I'm no, come on, guys. You can see he's not. But he is wiping his nose for sure. And I'm sure he's running into the house to go get some. But we're led to believe that it's a visitor, someone that who would have the balls to even carry cocaine into the White House, knowing that there's German shepherds all over the place that's sniffing for drugs and guns and
For people that don't know, this is 2020. The article is from The Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
October 2020.
Wristing one off.
The New York Magazine has suspended one of its longtime staff writers, legal expert Jeffrey Toobin, while it investigates a report that he was allegedly masturbating during a Zoom work call earlier this month. I made an embarrassingly stupid mistake believing I was off camera, Toobin said in a statement on Monday about this situation.
You're never off camera. So there you go. When you're at home and you're sitting in front of your laptop and you just think, a little porn on here, I want to wrist one off. You might want to cover up your webcam. 'Cause, I'm sure someone's watching.
What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm just gonna mute this and hide my camera and
The world is just terrible, man.
Jesus.
So that can segue into. Did you watch the Tate interview with Tucker? The Tucker Tate?
No, I haven't watched.
Interview? That was really good.
What was this about?
Pretty interesting. Tucker went to Romania, man, because Tate's still on house arrest.
Oh.
I didn't know he's still on house arrest. But they break it down it's really, really good. You should watch it.
Huh.
But since we were talking about, sex trafficking and shit like that, little backstory, he was arrested on suspicion of sex trafficking. There's been no charges brought against him. Really, really suspicious the way this went down, And it seems, again, the system is trying to silence someone that is promoting ideas that they don't like.
Do you want to keep talking or you want me to pause? I got
yeah, it's okay. All right. Yeah, that's better, huh?
Oh, man. Sorry.
That's all right. Whew. Sometimes you gotta have a pee break.
Oh man, well, I didn't drink enough water today. I knew I didn't because I've just been busy. And then oh shoot, that thing's playing in the background. I wonder if we could, we weren't listening to it, so I don't know.
No.
Anyways,
I didn't hear it.
So yeah, I drank one of those hydration packets.
Ooh, yeah.
Before we started about an hour ago. So what's give me an overview of what's going on. I don't know why we didn't get any audio.
Basically, they're saying that accusing. For one, they used a country that the United States requested that Romania arrest the Tate brothers. There's no extradition treaty with that particular country, the way I understand.
The United States, right?
So you could have them thrown in a hole over there, and they could be held without charges for up to 90 days. So then they were thrown in jail. Doesn't sound like a real pleasant place either. For 90 days, then they were let out on home arrest. Now there's been some charges. And basically what they're saying is that these guys were getting women to believe that they had romantic intentions with them, having them do TikTok videos, and then taking their money and using a sex trafficking ring. Although every woman that they've interviewed has denied this completely. So it sounds like there's zero evidence against these guys. It's just an allegation. And, again, these are, Andrew Tate is very influential in social media about being masculine and, working out, exercising, speaking your mind, just kind of some of the conservative ways of thinking, I guess.
So that's what I'm trying to say. What is the basis for them going after these guys? Because they're creating too much masculinity in society?
Right, they're too influential. You know what I mean? Like they want boys to chop their nuts off. They want you full of estrogen, and they probably want you gender confused, and you're not going to fight back. Like Andrew Tate says, him and his brother's military aged, they're fighters, and they want other men to be strong-willed, and when you're strong-willed, you're not gonna tolerate bad things happening or being enslaved to the system. He uses Matrix a lot.
What's weird?
His videos, and you can make it fit. If you look at the Matrix or the system as being the Matrix, it fits.
But I mean, okay, like I don't follow Tate brothers, whoever. Yeah. Okay.
I've seen some of his videos here and there, and they, whatever.
Like I follow other prominent influencers that have large followings that. And still masculinity. This is one.
He was speaking out against the system, though. Andrew Tate was. And
okay, so I want to. Okay, go ahead.
He apparently was like for a little while the most Googled man on the planet. Like there were people like this is levels that even Joe Rogan didn't hit. So
really,
yeah, I think it's more than just he has 100,000 subscribers. He's pretty influential. No, I think he was huge, and I'll tell you some of the things he did. Like during the lockdowns, like he was posting videos of him and his brother because they were in other countries that did not lock down. I can't. He says it in the interview with Tucker. I can't remember what country it was. Sweden. It was in Sweden, and they're out at restaurants and partying and living it up. And he was posting videos to show, like, look, guys, this is all crap. Like, and the system crushed them for it.
So okay, I'm gonna play this video here. Okay, I just came across this gentleman. Buddy Brown Music, almost 1 million subscribers on YouTube, right?
Right.
So I want you to watch this video. I saw this one the other day. I don't know much about him.
The best way to burn fat and get shredded is not keto, paleo, it's not carnivore, it's not vegan, and it's definitely not super intense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's everywhere.
Top of the morning, y'all. It is full-on copperhead season down here in Mississippi, and you better watch every single step. We're having us a snake killing. Time to get after them. Speaking of snakes, y'all want to see something terrifying? No, for real though. I do appreciate how people with purple hair dye their hair that way because it lets us know that not only do you have a very low IQ, but you've got a very high opinion of yourself. Down here in Mississippi, we just say, bless your heart, because we know you're way too dadgum stupid to argue with, and we ain't got time to argue with you. Mama's got a pie in the oven, and Daddy's smoking a brisket on the back porch. Now listen, we got this Megan Rapinoe, and she is definitely one of these bless your heart candidates. She is a dangerous, hate-filled, left-wing extremist who also plays soccer occasionally, and she has offended millions and millions of Americans already. She wants biological men to compete against women. I believe that's actually hate speech, since you know...
Come on, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
The only thing that would have made that intro better if they were shooting, they'd have been shooting Bud Light cans, you know. That'd have been awesome.
So women can't compete against a man
so
physically, and you know this. You want to purposely take away a lifetime of work away from women? That's just hateful. I feel like it's ironic that I'm the one that's actually defending women's rights. Why do you hate the achievements of your own gender so much, Megan? You know? I mean, do you feel like these little girls growing up today should go up against men and get completely dominated by them? Or why not just ask Venus and Serena Williams about how that works out? Because back in 1998, they were both at the top of their game in the whole world. They made a statement and a wager to each other saying, we could take any man in the world who is above the 200 ranking mark. First off, they were smart enough to say they had to be ranked, 200 or below. But there was a man who obviously stepped up, and it was a German guy named Karsten Bracht, and he was ranked 203rd in the world. He beat Serena 6-1 and Venus 6-2. This is what happens when somebody like Megan gets a false sense of their own importance. Dude, like 64 people showed up to watch your World Cup match in 2019. I had a bigger audience watching my ping pong tournament at the neighborhood gathering in my garage the other night. I know y'all seen that video of a bunch of 15-year-old high school boys beating the living slop out of Megan and the rest of her team. See, they ain't nothing special. It was just a scrimmage they had a while back, and they beat them, what, 24-1? Matter of fact, I think it's a shame that they let one goal score. So y'all wanted some good news? Here it is. This ain't 2016 anymore. Nobody bats an eye when they get called transphobic anymore. That tactic doesn't work anymore because everybody sees through it. I actually find myself rooting for the opposing women's soccer team now when they're playing in the World Cup. How sad is that? But that's how far out of line these players are. They don't represent America. They represent hate toward biological women with real dreams to win a World Cup. Men have taken over women's sports. Men have taken over women's pageants. Men have taken over female hygiene products. They've taken over the covers of women's magazines. Ladies, are you pissed off enough yet? Because you've been completely erased by left-wing endorsed hate. I'm still identifying as the Atlanta Braves third baseman, but nobody respects that. Let's defend women and ban men competing against them everywhere. And Megan, you ain't gonna go down as a good soccer player, honey. You're gonna go down as America's Karen. But hey, I do love the smell of purple hair burning in the morning.
Yeah, I seen an interview with one of the tennis players. He was ranked pretty high and had offered to play. I think it was Serena Williams. She was doing an interview and she admitted right there that there's no way she could beat him, that it would be unfair. So she wouldn't even play him.
Yeah, that wasn't the point to bring that up. My point was there's a lot of masculine influencers out there that are trying to.
Right. But I think most people had at least heard of Andrew Tate.
I've heard of him, but
he's driving around in a whatever. He's got a Lamborghini or whatever, and Maserati. I don't know. Yeah. He's got some outrageously expensive cars, and he's an influencer. It's what he does. He was a kickboxer, and he's like super fit. So he's real big on like fitness stuff too. And I think that was one of the things that I don't think they want people to be fit. You can see it. That to be. Look, I'm a fat person, so get pissed off if you want at me. That's fine. Leave it in the comments. But you know what? They this whole fat and proud movement, like big and beautiful, like. There's nothing wrong with being curvy, man. I think a curvy woman's sexy as hell, but I mean, there's people that are really, really, really big and they're trying to normalize that. And it's like, look, that's not healthy. I'm not healthy right now. I'm not going to lie and say I am, but society, and I think they want it that way. They want you unhealthy because you're a lot less amped to resist when they start making you live in the pod, man, and they tell you can't use the gas stove anymore, you can't charge your car to drive anywhere, like you could only stay within your zone, the little city, 15-minute cities. You know what? I was thinking about this. I talked to my little brother about this a few days ago. I said, I was listening to these things and I said, it sounded really familiar. And I'm thinking, I've seen all these movies that kind of lined up. And the one that really stuck out that day was Hunger Games. And I said, man, I got to go back and watch that because in a way that's really realistic to what's going on right now. And they can't even deny it anymore with the Great Reset. You've seen those guys in Davos all admitted it. They were talking about it. So why is John Kerry an expert in what I should be able to do in my life, where I should be able to travel, and all these people that want to align with these guys and like burn a city down for them, because John Kerry's not running around burning the city down. He's got to keep on these guys to do it for him. Do you think like this is going to work out good for you in the end? Like, you're going to be eating the crickets too, man. When you take freedom away from half the country, the other half gets enslaved too. This is about the 1% and us sheep, us common folk.
Let's see what this says. This is talking about the far right's obsession with.
Christie is going to make this event. I do know that he's getting a disproportionate amount of nasty press. So fat chance the former New Jersey governor gets a fair break here when he jumps in next week. Listen to this.
I don't know why people are doing it. They're at 1%. Some are at 0. I hear Chris Christie's coming in. He was at 6% in New Jersey, which is, I love New Jersey. But Joe Biden is too old. Trump is 76.
Donald Trump, which is the up on the scale.
Sorry about that.
All right, it probably doesn't help matters any.
Come on.
I hear Chris Christie's coming in. He was at 6% in New Jersey, which is, I love New Jersey, but 6% approval rating in New Jersey. What's the purpose?
All right, it probably doesn't help matters any. Chris Christie will likely be the attack
I thought they were going to talk about.
So since I am big, I am
just because
I am an expert in
polls. A lot of pundits, including the.
Man, I lost my monitor.
Oh no.
What happened there? Anyways,
I thought they were going to talk specifically about that topic.
Him, because look, you should not be fat shaming Chris Christie or anyone else. That's bullshit, man. Not saying fat jokes are off the table, because if someone was bald or someone was tall or someone's just ugly, like, humor should be used. It should be out there. But fat shaming people, you shouldn't do. Don't bully someone because they're heavy. That being said, I also see a lot of, fat shaming from, well, for one, let me back up. You shouldn't be telling them that it's healthy either. Don't lie to them and say you're beautiful, you're perfect, you're healthy. You're not healthy. You're going to have heart disease. Your knees are going to hurt. You're going to end up having a heart attack or stroke. We've seen during COVID, a lot of people that died were overweight people. They were people that had, asthma and overweight. Like, they were really susceptible to that, and the mortality rate was really high with them groups of people. So don't lie to people either. But, being a fat person, like, I get really sick of a bunch of skinny fuckers that's, never been fat in their life. Even when they were overweight, it was like, their BMI was up 2 points. Like, unless you've battled, like, obesity, if you've lost 150 pounds and, you want to talk about it, fine. But some people just don't understand it. They look at someone that's heavy and they think, well, obviously they're way overeating every day. And I don't think that that's the case all the time. I think sometimes it is, I think some people really love honey buns. They eat a lot of them in a day, and that can make you really, really fat. But I also know other people that don't. They try to eat decent and smaller portions, and they exercise, and it's just the way their body metabolizes it. Like, you eat, you get fat, I've struggled with it on and off throughout my entire life.
There you go. CNBC. CDC study finds about 78% of people hospitalized for COVID were overweight or obese.
Yeah. That should have been put out there for people. You know, we should be helping people lose weight and motivating them to.
That wasn't.
So don't lie to them.
That wasn't the narrative, though.
Right. No. Big and beautiful, like you.
No, I'm saying during that time, though, that wasn't the narrative.
No, that wasn't even close to the narrative.
Yeah, I think you went down over there, didn't you?
Yep. Technology. Well, at least the main one didn't.
Yeah.
Go down. That was start over.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, like there's some stand-up comedians that, you know, you want to poke fun at fat people, go ahead, man. I make fun of me being fat all the time. I have a sense of humor and I can take it. But I don't want people lying to me either and saying, you know, like it's good for me to be fat, because, you know, it's not. Something I fight and struggle with all the time. Of course, you know, I don't want people wanting to kill themselves because they're heavy either. I just want people to try to be healthier and, you know, eat better when you can. You know, the food is just toxic anymore. I think most of the food we eat, even the shit that's supposed to be healthy for us, is not good. You know, and Lord knows, like we've debated this before, the affordability of healthy eating is obnoxious anyways.
Yes.
They sure make it a lot easier and more affordable to eat bad, and I think that's the reason, because they want people genuinely unhealthy, unfit, depressed, just not, you're not going to resist. You're a lot easier controlled when you're beat down like that. You know, you're already defeated. So when they tell you to get in the bread line for your moldy bread and government cheese, like, you're going to do it, you know?
Yeah, I had this conversation earlier today.
I would assume that if I was smart, I'm just going to call it out. I want my money. You can get away with this too. Call them. Where's my money? Where's my money?
You don't get it. You can call corporate and get your money. Get out of my store right now.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Oops.
Hey.
What an asshole.
Okay, so those people listening, this is a guy freaking out at McDonald's, and you can go on YouTube.
There's a lot of those videos.
And you can, and it's like, I had this conversation today.
There's something weird.
Today or yesterday, and I was saying, I believe it's because this shit's so toxic that the other one was like the guy's cheeseburger got made wrong.
Yeah.
And he was like enraged.
Yeah, like they're jumping the counter. You can't
even make a burger right. Like, how complicated you're incompetent. You can't even put cheese and I'm like,
just ask them.
It's a fellow human.
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be something.
Half the time, they're just teenagers back there.
There's got to be some shit in this food that you're constantly consuming this.
I worked for a big chemical company. We'll leave unnamed. And there is absolutely chemicals that I made there that went into these fast food products. These little beads that we would make the chemicals to make these little beads that would go in milkshakes. Which, what is the one ingredient that's not in a milkshake? Milk. Believe it or not. Weird. And we also made chemicals that went into for the oil for the fryers, so that when they would drop their fries down, it didn't boil over. It kept the foaming bubbles at the top down to a minimum. So, like, this is stuff that came out of a big chemical plant that went directly into the food. Like, I think it's those chemicals, you get so addicted to them. I can tell you this, like, I don't really eat fast food anymore. I did about 3 weeks ago. I went to a famous, popular fast food restaurant. I'll leave it unnamed. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but just tasted bad. Like, I had a couple double cheeseburgers and I don't know. I thought, man, is this already lab grown meat in here? Like, this just doesn't taste like real beef. Like,
I think it's all this hyper processed preservative. It's all that shit, right? And I don't know if it's causing brain inflammation or what it does to set these people off over a cheeseburger not being made.
But there are a ton of those videos.
There are. And enough that you have to stand back and look at this. And if these people are consuming this shit all the time, just throw the obesity thing out the window. Throw the heart disease, all that out the window.
There are some skinny people that eat McDonald's or Wendy's.
Right, but what's it doing to their brain?
What's it doing to their brain?
That this is a constant thing that you can just watch these videos after video after video of people. They have compilation videos of people just freaking out at drive-thrus.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Trying to climb back through the window and assault people over a taco.
Yeah. Matter of fact, the last time I've been in fast food restaurant, the time before this last time, there was someone just outright giving it to the lady at the drive-thru because the order was wrong. And I was 2-3 cars back and could hear every bit, every word. Like, it was crazy how bad this woman was screaming. And when I pulled up, like, this woman, the poor lady at the drive-thru, like, was so defeated. And she's like, I'm really sorry for this taking so long. And I said, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Like, if I was in a real hurry, I would have just walked in. And I had told you that, and before we had that conversation, because when you walk in, you actually get served first. Everyone thinks you get served first in the vehicle, but no, you're sitting down, you're in the comfort of your own vehicle. Like, the priority goes to the person standing in the lobby, So if I was in a hurry, I'd go into the lobby and go through the line real quick. But I felt bad for her because, like, complete verbal assault on this lady for what? Like, come on, man. Fast food have been screwing up orders since fast food has been around. It's always been that way. I don't know how many times I've had to go back through the drive-thru and say, hey, you forgot my fries, or, oh, this is not even my order at all. And a lot of times you see it happen. Like, there's the orders are placed, it's taking too long, someone drives away. And then the cars are coming through, and now all of a sudden the food's already in the process of being made. So as they're going through the line, like, it gets it out of sync and someone gets the wrong stuff. It happens, man. Everybody that has a job makes a mistake at work. Sooner or later, we all do, right? That's why they're creating AI, because humans are imperfect. So you need AI to do everything for us. Because humans can't make a cheeseburger right. We can't.
But that should tell you something, Like, that should tell you something. There's something going on.
There's something in that food that, I think it's, like you said, the chemicals. And think about it. When, what is drugs? Drugs are chemicals that you're putting in your body, that your body gets addicted to. I wonder sometimes, like, what do they put in this food to keep you coming back? Because I'll tell you, like, I don't really eat it anymore. Don't get me wrong, like, I love chicken wings. I can smash some boneless wings.
I think there's a difference between going to B-Dubs and getting some boneless wings and driving through one of the big drive-through window places.
But I got those 2 double cheeseburgers, and they did not taste very good. And I thought, man, I don't want to ever eat this. This is garbage. Like, it did not taste right.
Well, and like us being Gen X, I mean, we were raised on this, right?
Yeah.
We were in the heyday of said establishment, right?
Any of them. One, insert one.
Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
So, we've been consuming that shit in 40 years, 40-some years we've been consuming that shit. Right?
Yeah. It's changed a lot. Sure is not the same place it used to be.
Sure, because profits, right? Profits, so we got to find a cheaper way to charge more.
Yeah, take less beef out, insert more chemicals. I don't know what is in those. Like I said, maybe it's already the lab grown meat. I don't know. But I just think food is going in a bad direction. I think food in general is really unhealthy, and I don't care whether you're going to fast food or you're just eating a box of Cheez-Its, or potato chips or anything else. Like, the oils that this shit's cooked in, whatever process it's going through during processing and packaging, and Like, I just think even the healthy food I don't necessarily trust is really, what kind of, okay, I'm getting romaine lettuce now from the store, and well, what the hell pesticides was sprayed all over this? Okay, well, wash your lettuce first. Okay, well, what fertilizers were used in the production of, when you're dealing with these Megatron farms? I don't know. I know that there's chemicals I made and at work that were illegal to sell in the United States, but we made them for other countries. Like, but then that other countries grow food that gets shipped back. I don't know.
When you have these woke revolutions, terrifying. It requires all.
But everyone wants to bitch about the temperature's gonna increase. In the next 10 years, civilization's gonna all die anyway. So, well, it went.
Has fast food gotten healthier?
Absolutely.
Has fast food truly turned a corner? To find out, I could go back on an all fast food diet, but something tells me this calls for a different approach.
Oh, yeah.
I want to start my own fast food restaurant.
You're crazy.
Tell me what kind of food.
The most eaten animal on the
I was
planet.
looking for the official trailer because maybe somebody listening didn't. But remember Morgan Spurlock did the documentary, air quote, Super Size Me?
Yep.
And you remember when he was talking, I was looking, I wanted to find I want part 2. I thought that was the first one. There we go, 2004. And he talked about, at least I know there's probably somebody out there that hadn't heard about it.
Hello, may I help you?
Yeah, could I get the double quarter pounder with cheese meal? I think I'm gonna have to go supersize.
It's hard for me to watch him go through this.
So it seems like you're starting to get addicted to it now.
You saw these numbers, right? These numbers are outrageous.
Unfortunately, you cause some major harm to your heart, your liver, your blood.
You're gonna die. You'll die.
I want more.
You gotta stop.
Supersize the American way. Getting fat, getting broke, either way you're gonna pay. Supersize me.
Supersize it up.
Supersize me.
Make it bacon.
Supersize me. Supersize me. Supersize me.
I wish it specifically talked because I don't remember all the details, but I know he eats nothing but fast food for a period of time, like a month.
Yeah, it was a month, I believe.
Something like that.
It was 1 month.
And he eats it every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And if they ask him if he'll supersize it, he has to get supersized. And what he talked about in there is like he almost felt like he was getting addicted. Yeah. And I ended fast food 10 years ago, around there. I remembered like almost like withdrawals, like driving by those places, like oh god, like
sounds so
yeah,
good.
like you almost get like a little fluttering, like a little anxiety, like you want to go in there and have it, like you almost have a craving for it. And it was probably 3 months before that started going away. That
I gotta wonder if it's
that craving of wanting to pull in there and get. And I didn't eat it very regularly, maybe a couple times a week.
Processed food, man, I think it's terrible for you. I think just food in general is not really that healthy anymore. Even the good food, I don't think is really that healthy. And now they want to create it in a lab where it's, created in a petri dish and, not on a farm. So, not good.
Right.
I tell you though, that's funny. I had a bariatric surgery for the audience that don't know years ago, and before I did, I knew that it was going to be a long time before I could eat food like that again. So I ate it every day, just every day, all day for a month, and I never gained 1 pound, not 1 pound.
Huh.
And it's just the way my body is, Of course, I quit eating it. Never lost a pound either, Bariatric surgery helped, but even now, like my regular diet, like I don't, my portions are not obnoxious. They're small, actually. I eat less than a teenager. I know that. I don't eat much, and I don't eat a lot of terribly bad stuff for you. I try to stay away from sugar now as much as I can, because that's just. I told you last week it was some M&Ms, man. I started getting addicted to. I broke down. I started to eat some, and I'm waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, man, craving M&Ms. I said something's wrong. It's evil. Stay away from it. So,
speaking of eating, let's go eat.
Yeah.
All right. We did an hour.
We can do. Yeah. It's pretty warm today, anyway. So. Yeah, all right. Well, hey, we before we go, we picked up a couple of new subscribers I've seen. So thanks, guys. For anyone that's new to the channel, please give us a thumbs up, like it, share it, help us build this. I won't lie, we get suppressed a lot because some of the stuff we talk about on here. We just wanted an authentic channel where we could just let you guys see in real time us kind of wrestle with some of the stuff. Like when you're not a professional political analyst, you're just kind of the normal average person, and watch us wrestle with these things. So the only way we're going to grow is organically. So help us out. But thanks for subscribing, and welcome to our channel. We hope you enjoy it. We have fun making them. So
Yep. Remember, be kind to each other out there. And
beans, bullets, and band-aids.
See you guys.